What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. And guess where you are? You are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your what? Your money. I'm Constance. And listen, I'm going to just be real quiet real quick. We are exploring a very sensitive and complex topic. The family of tWitch boss is challenging claims made by his whack-ass widow, Allison Holker, about alleged drug use. What kind of bull is that? A wife is going to do a tell-all book about her husband once he dies, about his drug use and everything, all his deepest, darkest secrets and his journal. Who does that? You know, losing a loved one is already difficult. But when personal stories become public, it raises questions. What should be shared? Is there not any respect for the dead? There's some things that really should remain private. And is she honoring his legacy or is she crossing the line? I could already tell you what I think. But today, we're going to explore grief. We're going to explore legacy, and we're going to explore how families handle public scrutiny while protecting things that matter the most. And what matters the most is really around family. So today, I am with the queens and the Kang. That's what the Kang. What's his name? Mr. Joe Corley. They really be calling y'all Dr. Joe, huh? He ain't nobody's doctor, but he is a therapist. And he likes for people to come and sit on his couch. He's licensed. Right. Yes. But we do have a real doctor on the show today, y'all. Her name is Dr. Felice, and she is the b.big.coach.com. I ain't throwing you no shade, Joe. You a therapist too. And then we have Miss Vanessa Paul. Guess what? She ain't got no AA. She ain't got no bachelor's. She got a what? A master's in public policy. She is an entrepreneur and an international travel agent. And then last but not least, she is the producer of all things Miss Black Hollywood. She makes sure that we all together up in here. So y'all, okay. So the whole idea of this lady, this wife, this mother, this woman sharing her deceased husband, and we all know, first of all, it's suicide. There are a lot of sensitive things around it. There's a lot of elements that I think are important factors in this, right? So you have the children, you have the mother, you have the siblings, his siblings, you have his family too. So it's not just about her. But when you heard that, because there was a lot of suspicion around his death too. They was like, is there foul play? Did she do it? But what was your thoughts when you seen the headlines without even digging deep into what actually happened? What was your first thought, Miss Black Hollywood, on her doing a tell-all book, Miss Allison Holker?
I think everyone has a right to grieve in whatever way they choose to do it, right? I was interested in knowing kind of her perspective on things, or what happened, like what happened, basically, what happened in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what okay. What about you, Dr. Felice?
I thought that, I wasn't surprised. I think she gave it some, he's been dead 2 years. Like, everybody's got a book, right? And so I can see, what else was she going to write about? So I could see her writing about her experience around this grief. So I'm not surprised that she wrote a book. It makes sense that she would do that. Everybody writes a book. And so this is her opportunity to do it.
Personal journal, his deepest, darkest secrets.
Well, she
said about the happy times.
Well, but that's not real life, right? And that's why, don't get me wrong, social media has such an impact on people's mental health, because we only see the unrealistic. We only see the happy, the good. And so you got people coming, looking and peering into people's lives for only the good, when we're holistic human beings. We're not just happy all the time. We do go through life, and life happens to us, not just to the individual, but to the people who are affected by us. And so she couldn't give a complete story just telling about the happy stuff. Like, that wouldn't be real, and nobody would buy it. And so, she needed to include all of it. I'm not judging. I'm not saying it was right or was wrong, but I'm saying that in order for somebody to pick up a book, They don't want to see just the happy, and the happy wasn't her existence. She had unhappy moments too. So if she's going to write the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, life is full of layers. So it's not like we're one dimensional. There are all types of things, but I think there could have been choices that were made just to respect the dead. And I think, there's no real respect for the dead here, especially when it comes to, he has children. But I want to ask the audience before I ask to go to Vanessa and Joe. What was your first thought when you heard that this lady had wrote a tell-all book exposing his deepest, darkest secrets in her book for profit? Was she right? Yay or nay? What do you think, Vanessa?
The first thing that I thought was maybe she needs some money. That's what I thought, because I think it's very, I don't know, it's just very inviting to the entire public to invite everybody into your most personal, deepest relationship that, people don't get to see. So I don't know, maybe she was financially driven, or maybe she is financially driven. Maybe she needed some money. That's the first thing that I thought. And I thought it was interesting. I don't really know whether I necessarily agree or disagree with it. It wouldn't be my personal decision, but I just thought it was interesting, and I thought it definitely was financially driven.
You said a key word. You said it was very inviting. The thought I was thinking was tacky, but I mean, it's I have a whole different opinion about this chick. What do you think, Joe? What do you think? What was your first thought when you found out that she did a whole tell-all book about this man, this beloved man, but he ended up taking his own life?
My first thought is that at the end of the day, that's the woman he chose. So that's her right to do whatever she wants with her husband's legacy. And the only way, honestly, to respect him is to respect the choice that he made. He chose that woman.
Yeah. Well, I've been seeing the comments, and they said a lot of Black women are telling other Black women, this is our time to sit this one out. We ain't really got a dog in the fight. I don't know. But let's take a look at the video where she's talking to, what is his brother?
You realize that Stephen left. So when you say
what do you mean Stephen left? Hold on. What do you mean Stephen left?
Stephen would want the family to see his kids. He could have stayed.
Don't say that shit.
It helped.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yes, no, I'm allowed to.
No, you ain't allowed to say no stupid shit like that.
The other side
you ain't allowed to say no stupid shit like that, man. That's fucked up. What you mean he could have stayed?
He could have stayed and been a partner. He could still be helping fathering these children with me. I would love to wake up next to him every single day still. I loved him more than anything.
Shut your ass up.
I still talk to him. He still talks to me. He still comes to me in my dreams. I still ask him for advice. He still guides me. I ain't doing some crazy ass shit. I still communicate with him. I am doing everything I can. And you know what my only job is? It ain't to worry about you. My job is to worry about these 3 kids. And I'm doing a beautiful goddamn job at it.
You think so?
And I protect the hell out of Stephen.
Sure.
And I know I'm doing a great job at it. So I'm tired of someone attack my integrity.
Why would you, I ain't nobody attack. You keep using this word attack. It's just crazy to me. And how you can sit there and say what you just said, knowing, I thought you said you knew he had mental issues. I thought you said you knew he was going through stuff. And then you just say some dark shit like, well, I mean, he should have stayed. He should have stayed.
He should have stayed.
Mental.
He could have got therapy. He could have talked to someone. He could have asked for help.
Where was you at? Why couldn't he talk to you? Why couldn't he talk to you? Y'all was so close, right?
He doesn't have to just.
No, y'all was so close, right? Why couldn't he talk to you?
His mother. It could have been.
Because he had a hell of conversations with.
Say that about.
He had a hell of conversations with me about why he couldn't talk to you.
He had hella conversations with me about why he couldn't talk to you. So I don't know if I want to start with the therapist or end with the therapist, but Joe, what did you get from that?
Oh man, listen, I'm still thinking, what I started out with, like he chose this woman, but as we're going through it, I'm like, damn, we chose this woman? Like this is nuts, bro. This is nuts, bro. You gotta. My first thought is to tell people, like, when you are with somebody, you have to understand and accept that you are not only choosing them for yourself, but you're choosing this person to like raise your children and all of the things, right? And for whatever reason, he trusted this woman to have kids with her and to raise, to raise those kids in the event that he was not going to be here. And this is what he got, man. But damn, shut your ass up.
He said he chose this woman, but damn, he chose this woman.
he chose, he chose this woman. That's wild.
I mean, a couple of things that she said that stood out. A couple of things. One thing she said that she still talks to him. He still comes to her. She also said that he could have stayed, but then she also talked about he had mental challenges. So how could he have stayed? Like if she said he had mental, so he was dealing with some mental. And so I do want to ask you, Dr. Felice. So the idea of her blaming him, I think it sounds like for his own death. What's up with that?
So, there's stages to grief, right? And so that could be a representation of the anger that she's probably expressing around his choice, right? Because it is a choice. We get to choose how we do this thing called life. And so he chose to leave here prematurely. And so it could be anger that she's exhibiting from his choice of choosing to leave her and their family. And so, and he did have a choice. He had a choice to stay, but he chose not to. And so what I believe she's saying is that I wish he would have chosen to stay, to still be in the ring fighting and hadn't gotten this help. And so I think that's where she's possibly coming from, is from a space of anger about his choice.
Which I get. And, a lot of times we get mad at people because they grieve a certain way, right? I remember when Rodney King died and people blamed his wife thinking that she drowned him. And it turns out he really did drown because he couldn't, she was trying to throw the vacuum out there. She was throwing all this stuff out there and he couldn't swim. And they were saying foul play, but they found out that she really didn't have anything to do with it. And they were mad at how she was grieving. And I understand we can't get mad at how people grieve, but then the fact that you turn around and you write a tell-all book, it just negates, I think, your my sympathy with how you grieve. But we'll talk more about it when we come back from a commercial.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
So I do want to continue the conversation about the video, because I think that, it gives some context, kind of. Do you think that it gives context to kind of who she is and where she is, or is this just a snapshot, do you think, Vanessa?
Well, I'm going to come from a different perspective, because one of the things that she said in there was, I have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mom, I feel like no matter what, you put your kids first. So when you asked me the question and I said it was probably due to some financial constraint, maybe she isn't living the same way that she's living when he was around. Maybe she can't provide the same lifestyle for her children. And this book is an outlet for that, even if it seems a bit bizarre or just too inviting, like into his personal life. Another thing, I think what Dr. Felice was saying, I agree with that. I think that, if you're with a man and he's supposed to be with you and raise these children with you and do life with you, and then he decides it is a decision to take his life, she's probably at a point in her life where she feels angry, where she feels some sort of resentment towards him, because now she's alone having these 3 children. The issue of her being available to deal with his mental health issues, everybody doesn't have the capacity to deal with mental health issues. I've had a really close friend who was really, really close to me. I had no idea when she had a mental break. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I had no idea how to deal with it, or I just was completely, I mean, we're not friends. And it's because I didn't know how to deal with it. I've never experienced that. I have no experience with it. I'm not trained to. So in looking at it from another light, I can understand a perspective of her point of her point of talking to the brother, of saying, of being angry, of having some resentment, of now raising 3 children, maybe being in a type of financial constraint that doesn't allow her to provide the lifestyle that they provided when he was alive, and that led her to lead a book. Like I said, I don't necessarily think that it would be my choice, but I can understand it from those point of views.
Girl, if you having financial constraints, just say so. But here's the thing that the boldness in which this lady walks. If you look at the topic of what we're discussing, she dared his family to write a book. And she said the profits will be hers. She told this brother that she made his mother sign an NDA. Who makes the mother sign an NDA? Do you think the mother is going to go and put his dead body on the internet? She's talking about she did it so she's a liar to me. I did it because I didn't want her putting the body on the internet. You think that this lady is going to put the body on the internet? I highly doubt it. So I think you, Dr. Felicia, y'all giving this lady too much grace. I think she's trash personally. But Miss Tierra, what do you think? What's your thoughts when you heard that audio of her talking to the brother about, all the things? Do you have sympathy, or
you're gonna hate me? I think you're gonna hate all of us today, because because here's the thing. I hear them all grieving. I do. I hear anger from her brother. I hear, I hear something from Allison, but it also reminds me that white people and black people deal with things very differently. Like, culturally, we deal with things differently. Like, you know, black people, and I'm just saying in this situation, we tend to want to sweep things under the rug. There's things that, that's just how you grow up in a black household. Don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody's business. What happens in this house stays in this house. And it's obvious there was something wrong with Stephen. He killed himself. There was something wrong. He was struggling. We don't know what the drugs were. We don't know what she discovered in that closet. We don't know what she hasn't said. We have no idea. But we know that there was a problem, because this man locked himself in a bathroom in a hotel and did something, right? And we don't know what that last note was. He left a suicide note. We don't know what it said, right? So maybe we should just kind of evaluate that black people and white people do shit differently. White people don't do that. They don't hide things. They come out and be like, that's when I felt that. They're gonna be on the TV, like, and then they came in, and then it went crazy, and then that's when it happened. Black people be like, I'm not saying nothing. You got, even if it's right. And so I think this book can be a way to save people's lives. I think it can be a way to save other people's lives that are struggling with mental health. I also have close relatives who struggle with mental health. And so I just understand. And, the way my black family has dealt with it is calling her crazy her whole life, as opposed to getting her help. And that same relative has tried to commit suicide a few times. You know what I mean? And nobody in the family, everybody's like, oh, she's just crazy. Oh, she just So I just think that we deal with things differently, Constance. And I could see where you're coming from. But, like, Allison is white.
y'all giving this bitch a pass.
White.
No, white people know tact. It's just like saying, I'm gonna go back to this. We didn't know slavery was wrong because everybody was doing it. You inherently know what's right from wrong. And what she did is absolutely wrong. There is a difference between tact and tactless and tacky. Okay. She's straight up tacky, right? So let me ask you this. I'll ask you, Vanessa. So do you think that she had an obligation to go public with this because he's a public person?
I don't know if I would call it an obligation. I still think it's a choice. I think that it was her choice. But at the end of the day, I'm with Joe. That's who he chose for his wife. And you have to be careful when you make a decision to become one as a union with someone, then you have to, I mean, that's what it is. So obviously he knew what type of woman he was married to. He knew what type of woman he was married.
Maybe that's why he killed himself.
I mean, dang, that's deep. But I mean, it could be a factor. Maybe they was having marital issues, like T said. We don't know what was in the note. But I do think that it's her choice. I think that that's who he decided to marry. So I think for us to be like, whether she did wrong or right, I mean, that was his wife. Like, she knows the most intimate details about him, having the
right.
mom and all that stuff signing in, it's just like Tier said. It's nothing that I would do, or probably any of us would do, right? Because we just deal with our family members different. It's the type of love and the type of spirituality that we as Black people have. But I just feel like, once again, that's who he married.
I want to
So
hear from the white people in the audience. Do we have any white people in the audience?
Come
Because I need to know. Because everybody is making assumptions on how y'all respond, and I just don't. I don't think this is how white people do it. I just don't.
What?
But
no, that's how they do it.
That's how they do it. You ain't been looking around lately, Constance. You ain't.
I don't think it's right. Is there any white people in the audience that can help us figure this out here? Because I don't think we have this all figured out.
I think the words you're saying, you're thinking is betrayal, right? So you're thinking that she somehow betrayed him and his legacy, but it's a little different too. Like, what would we be talking about this if they weren't celebrities? And so there's a fine line, and there's all these different things, like you said too, Constance, layers, but you have a lack of grace for the layers. Like, there's layers to this, right? That we possibly don't know. And so we don't know what they talked about. They could have had these boundaries where it was okay for them to share what they were going through. And he didn't have an issue with, like Joe said, he picked her. You don't think he knew that she may not have those privacy boundaries that he did? You don't think that with them being 9 years in marriage, that he didn't experience what that dynamic was like between her and their family, and what those boundaries was like, hence probably the NDA at the funeral? So there's a whole lot of things that in 9 years probably transpired between two different cultures, and in the middle, something called love. Right. And then what does that mean? And so, how do you respect somebody's legacy? Right. And that's what I'm thinking what I'm hearing from you, Constance, is how do you respect somebody's legacy when this happens? And so it sounds like you would have preferred that if she did write a book, it was a happy book. And
sweeping under the rug.
Right.
And
And
nothing wrong.
Not sweeping under the rug, but like, how do you? It's about
hotel with a gun. He was excited.
It's about protecting his legacy, and I know he tarnished it by taking his own life, but you didn't ever see him speak negatively about his wife. Within 48 hours, and we've seen it all over the internet, Joe. Within 48 hours, she changed her name from Boss back to Holkerson. So it's like, how was she protecting his legacy?
That sounds like anger to me. It
sounds like anger.
That sounds like anger.
He didn't protect his legacy.
Yes.
You just said he didn't protect his own legacy. And listen, I've sat with the loved ones of those who have completed suicide, and the initial emotion almost always is anger. It's why in the world would you leave? And then you start taking it personal. What I'm not good enough. Your kids aren't good enough. What did we do that caused you to make this choice for us? Because he made the choice for his whole family to traumatize it. He traumatized his children first. He abandoned his family first. I mean, these are just real things. I understand how suicide works, but let's just deal with the reality of it. That family is without their father, without their lead. And how she responds, I don't know what talents does she have? Because I understand he made a good living, right?
She was a dancer too, I think.
She was a dancer. They weren't. Yeah.
Did she make a good living at it like he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
So she's got to figure out a way. So there's all kind of things that go into it. But again, I'll go back to the beginning. He chose this woman.
Well, let me just say this. Can I add this? I'm sorry, Joe. 100% of the proceeds are going to a foundation that she started in his legacy.
So she didn't need the money.
So she doesn't need the money, y'all. It's it's called
so what
something in kindness. So it's 100% of it is going of the proceeds from the book is going to a foundation in his honor. So
who's the executive director of that foundation?
Tarnish his legacy.
It's true.
Who is the executive director of the foundation? Because people think nonprofit. Let me tell you something. Go look at the executive director of a Red Cross, and
they
pay, honey. They pay.
Does that
we're gonna talk about it. Hold on, we're gonna talk all about it when we come back from a commercial.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
Now, let's talk about it, because Felice and Vanessa, y'all talking about, well, perhaps she needed the money. Well, it turns out she really did need the money. And perhaps she's not the executive director of the organization and she's not getting anything from it. So now, to me, it sounds like she's just exposing him and trying to tarnish his legacy, in my opinion.
But we don't know if it's a private foundation. She still keeps that money. The money.
I'm just saying, if she's not benefiting from it financially,
it sounds like she got a good attorney, a good CPA, and a good person to set it up the way you need to set it up for tax purposes. And it sounds just about white. Oh! That's what it sounds.
So okay,
it's giving. That's what it's giving.
Also, it's her right to do that.
What'd you say, Joe?
It's her right.
Also, it's her right. If she is going to profit off of him, she has a right to do that.
And there's his family to try. And that's their brother, their son, their cousin, their uncle.
Yeah, she has 3 of his children, though. 3 of his young children.
I got married, and if something was to happen to me, then it's all in my wife's hands. Now, my brothers and my sisters and all that, they gonna have to fall back because this is the woman I chose.
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
Constance, no, I want to know. Because seriously, what is really bothering you? Like, do you not like the fact that she has the choice to do this and make these decisions? Like, because she does. He did choose her.
Yes, my issue is, well, can we run the other video real quick? Because I'm gonna tell you what the part of my issue is too. Let's run the other video, because I don't think she's that heartbroken. Let's go.
The love video.
I had dealt with an ex that had addiction problems, and then I realized Steven had addiction problems, and it's something that I kind of have been like, where was I involved in this? And I had to take some steps for myself to realize, like, I was able to help one, and I wish I could have been that for the other. But it's also not my job to do that. There was a moment I was with one of my really dear friends, and we were cleaning out the closet and picking out an outfit for him for the funeral. And it was a really triggering moment for me because there was a lot of things I discovered in our closet that I did not know existed. And it was very alarming to me to learn that there was so much happening that I had no clue. So it was a really scary moment in my life to figure that out. But it also helped me process that he was going through so much. And he was hiding so much, and there must have been a lot of shame in that. And he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put it on anyone. Because he loved everyone so much. He didn't want other people to take on his pain.
That wasn't the one, but he loved everybody. And he didn't want nobody to take on his pain. He was a good guy. He presented that he loved his wife, his family. That's the thing I have a problem with. It's like, yeah, we know, okay, if this was me and this was my spouse and everybody loved him, and I don't care what, the public doesn't need to know that. And for me, it feels like she's trying to just tarnish his name. Obviously, she doesn't want she's not getting any financial gain from it, but she also says his family better not. And then again, making his mom sign the NDA, like things like that. That's not normal. That sounds like a grieving person to you, a grieving spouse?
I feel like, when you look at Vanessa Bryant, it was the same kind of issues with the family, but we just don't know the magnitude of the conversations that he had with his wife. I'm not like, if he's dead and this was a way like, oh, I can give back to my kids, or I can help someone through mental health issues, or they can see the raw me in this, and maybe that'll help. I don't know if he would necessarily mind, like in death, like if I passed away and someone wrote a tell-all book about me, but my daughter flourished and maybe she learned a lot, maybe it helped someone mental health. I don't know if I would really, because he's still great, right? He's still great.
It doesn't take away from what he
did. He's still great. What it says is that even the greatest people can deal with mental health issues, and maybe it's a wake up call for us to really, really address it and
Okay.
and recognize it.
Especially in our community, especially Black people, especially because we sweep everything under the rug.
So I want to ask you, Joe, the idea of her making his family sign an NDA, and I want to go to you after that, Tier, because you are in the industry. You're this is what you do. So the idea of her making his family sign an NDA, especially his mom, because her thing was she didn't want them putting his body on the internet, and her also saying they cannot profit in any way from his. I know you already said was it's on him, but okay, let's just talk about the NDA. What the idea of her making his mom sign an NDA?
Why would his mom sign it?
If she didn't sign it, she wouldn't have been able to go to the funeral.
Okay, still not signing it.
So she misses her son's funeral.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I
no,
know
I
it
would have
sounds.
signed it. I mean, you think about your it's like.
Funeral? Have you? How many? Okay, we might have different perspectives on this. How many people very, very close to you have you lost in your life?
Couple, not anybody super close. I mean,
Okay.
a couple. I've lost a few.
Right. So I've lost a few very, very close. My sister, my mother, and I know what a funeral is, and I'm not going to sign away my rights to talk about anything to attend a ceremony. I'm not going to do that unless there's some type of, incentive in it. And I'm sure his mom has probably been around long enough to know what that is. So I don't really think that. I mean, I don't know. So I was like, I'm taking my hands off. I don't really know, but I feel like there was another reason she signed that NDA. That's just me speculating, but I don't think you sign away your rights to talk about your child. You just basically gave away your child in order to attend a ceremony. I don't think so.
I would think she was like, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to talk about him anyway. Here, let me sign it. But it's. I don't think it's on the mom. I think it's on her for making the mom do it. But what do you think, Tiara?
I'm actually looking. I wanted to look again at the details of, and obviously I wanted to find the document because I'm big on like what does the document say, but it does say she found what it doesn't say. It says she found a cornucopia of drugs which included mushrooms, pills, and other substances. I just want to say this. You guys have already mentioned that it was the only way to attend the funeral. I just wanted to see exactly what it said. I didn't remember. Okay. Per the outlet, the one component of the document is that it essentially blocks Twitch's family financially. More specifically, it reports blocks from them collecting any money from a memoir about their relationship and his death. Specifically, those signed the document who reportedly agreed to hand over any proceeds from the interviews, books, articles, or programs about him straight to Allison's pocket. Yeah,
You're signing that to attend a ceremony. You're signing that to. Did you hear what you just read? You're signing that to attend a ceremony.
Additionally, the memoir will reportedly chronicle her life with Twitch. However, she has stated that proceeds from the memoir will be donated to the Move with Kindness Foundation.
Oh, Move with Kindness. That's her foundation. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That's the dancing foundation. Okay. Got it. Okay, Vanessa, you on point, right? You on point. Okay.
So you asked me. You asked me if What did you ask me specifically?
The idea of her making his mother sign, because Joe is putting it on the mom. Like, why will she sign it? My question is, why would she make the mother sign it? Like, what kind of person would do that?
Equally bad.
You think it's
Or you know what? She could have already had a
equal?
book deal in play. That's another reason. Like,
equally
she
bad.
could have already inked
She
a book
did.
deal.
It was already a thing. It had to be because at the funeral she already had it in play. Because her releasing this book was, the whole idea is everything that profits from Twitch's name we're gonna put in this organization to help fight or battle against mental health and mental health awareness and all of that. So I mean, I see the vision. I mean, it's just what it. I'm curious to know.
He still
like
ain't
you said, the
articulated it
intention.
well.
It sounds like it's a no compete. It's a no compete contract, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah.
yeah.
Constance, you got 4 babies. You signing that just to go to the ceremony? You signing that document?
I don't know.
Everything
I mean,
Tierra just read.
I may be more intellectually astute than the mother, right? So she may thought that was her only option. She may not be very well versed. Maybe she didn't have an attorney. I mean, you and I, hindsight being 2020, we could probably say with all certainty that we wouldn't do it. But that probably has never been presented before. I mean, the idea again, Tierra, the NDA from her perspective, like what kind of bitch
Not a mama dumb.
would make a mama sign an NDA about
Not
for her son?
Not a mama
That's
dumb.
crazy. Dr. Felice mentioned, right, that there's obviously some type of tension between the families. There's something here, y'all. There's a part of this that we just don't know about. And I think everything we talk about when it comes to these personal relationships, we have these stories where we talk about families where we don't know all the details or the moving parts. So it makes it hard to just say definitively.
Right. And thank you for saying that. So let's do a hypothetical. You don't like your mother-in-law. Your mother-in-law didn't like you. I'm not saying it's hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all didn't have a good relationship. In those years that y'all were married, a lot of disrespect, a lot of dismissiveness. And so all of a sudden now, you want to be a part of this times. And so, she's like, you'll have no part of it unless it's on my terms. So what am I saying? I'm saying that there's layers there that we don't know. And really, honestly, I wouldn't do an NDA for a mother-in-law or something like that, but you have no idea what, and then the way that the brothers was talking to her on the phone gives you, if that was their normal dynamic about how they related to her. Right, because they just randomly threw out curse words.
Shut your ass up.
Right, stuff like
that's the first thing I heard in my head.
Right,
yeah, but I don't think she heard that. I don't think she heard that, and that probably was I felt like that was a post tape. I don't think she heard that.
I don't know, but but
she didn't acknowledge it.
That might be a hint of the type of relationship that she possibly had with their family.
Especially if she didn't acknowledge it. Especially if she didn't acknowledge it. Like, okay, I talked to Steven and Steven talked to me. I know, because you can't really argue against Black people. Like,
no,
they
but
just
the thing about it is,
I'm sorry, Dr. Felice, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that we don't know what those because I'm thinking there had to be a reason too, besides just financial.
Exactly.
Why she said why she had them sign an NDA. Right. And then I'm like with Joe too. Like if you kind of knew and understood what your dynamics were with this woman, you shouldn't probably have signed that NDA. You should, I mean, that's what I think. I agree with Joe on that.
So I think if she didn't have a good relationship with them, she wouldn't be on the phone with him in the first place, arguing or not. I think that they may have had it sounded like to me they may have been in communication before, and maybe this brought some tension because if they have a history of being at each other's throat and they don't talk, why all of a sudden am I going to talk and spend my time arguing with you post his death?
People are ignorant. They get on the
no, it sounds to me, it don't sound as bad. I don't think that they had a bad relationship. I think that they was upset because she made their mama sign, because in that same conversation, and you don't hear it on here, but in the same conversation,
man got on that phone specifically to tell that woman to shut her ass up.
No,
some people just want to cut you out.
You didn't hear the whole conversation. You didn't hear the whole conversation, Joe, because he was asking her, because it's not on there. He was asking her why he made her mama sign an NDA. So that conversation was also in there. So of course, tempers were flaring. You won't make my mama sign an NDA to go attend her son's funeral. So there was a whole conversation around that too. But we're gonna talk more about it when we come back from a commercial.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and reviews so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
I wonder what his dating history was. Somebody said she is treating him just how he allowed her to treat him when he was alive.
We don't know.
That might be true. Do you think that he allowed them to disrespect his people when he's? Is that what we do? Is that what we doing now? So I wonder if you guys will have the same perspective after we see this next video.
Oh God.
I thought it was going to be very, very hard for me to accept love from someone. I thought it was going to be so difficult because I was like, am I betraying Steven by doing that? And then I did find love, and I feel happier than ever. I really do. And I'm really grateful that I made that choice to open myself up to it, because it's been the best decision I've made in a really, really, really long time.
This bitch found love hella fast. Joe?
It's 2 years later, Constance.
Yeah.
I've been divorced 4 years and I ain't found love yet. What the hell? How'd she find love?
I wonder why.
And she might have been married for 9 years, but not in her marriage for 7, you know?
Shut up, Joe.
Might be some other factors. Not because you're not ready to move on. It might be some other factors.
Might be.
Listen, man. Yeah, I mean, people grieve. Everybody grieves differently. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, acknowledging that what you're saying could possibly be accurate. And you have to acknowledge that, you know, what we're saying could possibly be accurate as well. And we just don't know. But from what we understand and what we see, we know one thing. He chose this woman.
That part.
That's all we know.
For sure.
So his brothers, his mama, they got to deal with this because of his choice. All of this comes down to his choice. He chose that woman.
Somebody in the audience said that he didn't even put her on the wheel. Is that true, Tierra? Fact check that. Fact check that. Vanessa, what do you think about her moving on and being able to find love? Is that a good thing, or? Because she said this is the best decision she's ever made. She ain't been this happy in a long.
Well, I think, it's been 2 years, and I feel like you could possibly meet someone in 2 years. But people be in marriages, and you say 9 years, but you've been in your marriage for 7. You've been in your marriage for 5. You've just been doing life together the other 3, the other 4 years. So I think it's fair to say that, like, maybe they were married for 9 years, and the first 5 years, 6 years were great. Maybe those last 3 years were extremely difficult due to mental health issues, due to drugs, due to whatever was going on in their relationship. So for us, we might be looking at it for 2 years, but for her, it might have been 5, 6. We don't know. So I think it's just, I think it's fair for a person to fall in love after they lose a spouse, or, and there's no really time frame on that. I mean, ideally you think, you wait a couple years or whatever, but I mean, there's no time frame. You could meet someone and you could be happy. And I think that that's cool that she met someone and she's happy.
She can delay her life. Can I also add to that? My auntie was married to her husband for 16 years. And the last 2 years of his life, he was battling cancer. And my auntie said, man, I love being a wife. I love being his wife. I love being a wife. So when this is over, I'm going to get married again. Right? She gave him he gave her his blessing. And literally within 6 months, she had met somebody else, and they are married now. They've been married now for like 2 years, right? So it's, and it was like kind of back to back, and they married. So I don't know. I think you can. I think you can find love, especially if that's what you want.
Okay. So Dr. Felice, okay, she found love. Okay, we can't put a time on it. Okay, because I already know that's what you're going to say. We can't put a time on nobody's feelings because they're like, I know what you're going to say. Why? So, but you couple that with the lady changed her name within 48 hours, with the lady made the family sign the NDA, with the lady did a tell-all book. and she, she felt like, maybe finding love was betrayal, but she didn't feel like writing a tell-all book was a betrayal. All these factors, and you still think, she's a victim of her own grief.
I know it says till death do you part. So I think that when a person dies, it's a wrap. And so you can do whatever you want at that point. And just to be fair, it's usually men. Like soon as they put some dirt over the woman's grave, they had a woman, waiting in the wings anyway. And so I agree with Constance. You don't know what that marriage was like. And you don't know if it was Black Hollywood. Okay.
That was Vanessa, actually.
Oh, sorry. You don't know what that marriage was like. Sorry, Vanessa, not giving you your credit. You don't know what that marriage was like. And a lot of people are in marriages that they just hanging around for the kids. It's not necessarily good. And if they had the opportunity, if it wasn't their faith or their value system or them caring about what people said, that's the only reason why they're in there. And so some people waiting for their mate to die. You know what I mean? Like they're like
touching on their nose at night, like you still awake. You still alive.
Like they still living. Like damn. So it's like so some of them just waiting for them to pass away so they can get a second chance. So you just you can't judge it. Like if she found love, she found love. I'm happy for her.
Okay, all right, I could dig it. So I'm gonna ask you this, Vanessa. How do you think the public's reaction to her financial decisions can affect like her reputation? Do you think that this has tarnished her reputation at all? Do you think that is she getting backlash? Is she getting fair treatment in the public?
I think it's a mix. I mean, but of course, when you see it, the way the media has a great job of like portraying things in the most, in the way that's going to get the most views and talks, and so I mean, I think it's a mix of both, but I feel like she's prepared for that. I don't think she's really concerned with that, to be honest. I think her concern is her and her kids and her finances and her well-being, and I think that it trumps over anything. So I don't really know if she's necessarily concerned with the public of their view of her, as much as the public's whatever they have to say. I don't think she's really that concerned.
Miss Black Hollywood, is she really concerned about how her kids feel if she's talking mess? Oh, there's a coyote or fox. Is she really concerned about the way her kids feel if she's writing a tell-all book about their father, one? And number two, is she handling this right in the media? Because I have not seen anything that makes me sympathetic towards her. Like, is she's supposed, did she not get trained? Because everything I'm seeing, it makes her look worse, in my opinion.
Yeah. Her daughter came out and fully defended her mother, right?
And it was horrible. Didn't do a good job.
Right, but she was defending her mother. So there's already a narrative at home that's saying like your dad was an amazing man, and I want to share. And they're watching their mother kind of play this thing out in real time and in real life. So I'm pretty sure that perspective is right. Like they're watching it and they're understanding why their mom is doing certain things, how she's been living. Maybe she's been lonely. Maybe she's been grieving. Maybe she's been crying every day.
She got a man, but go ahead.
She did say she got a man. She did say that. But they're watching it play out. So I think that they'll respect their mother. Their mother is taking care of them. Their mother is loving on them. The book, I would have to read the book, but most of the time a book isn't coming, just being somebody that helps people write their books. I know that you can't just write a book and it be full of like negativity towards. There's a story. You're taking people on a journey. It's not going to be all just like he killed himself. That's it. He was terrible. I'm pretty sure it's not that. It's the ride that they were on together. And then at some point she'll talk about the devastation and kind of rising above it. I'm pretty sure, but I would have to read it. I just don't believe that lady is getting on the internet and getting in real life, speaking ill about the man that she was married to. I just don't, when I watched it, I didn't feel like it was so terrible. I didn't feel like it was disrespectful. Now the NDA thing is a different is a different, I would have to hear more on that and see the NDA, but it didn't feel so disrespectful. It felt like she was coming forward after 2 years, just saying like her side. It's not like it's a week later, right? It's not a week later that she's doing this. It's
I
2
don't know
years
why you
later.
giving
She's
it y'all.
saying,
I don't know why y'all giving this bitch so many passes. I have
"Ooh,
no idea. Every single person on here, y'all are surprising the hell out of me because y'all giving this bitch more passes than they get at Six Flags. Now listen, and we about to go to commercial, but I think about reality shows, right? So reality shows, when you see a Housewives of, I don't know, the White Housewives, they don't be showing them. No, listen, they don't be showing them fighting and shit, right? But the Black Housewives, they show them fighting and shit, right? Because why? Because I don't know, for some reason they like to show us in a negative light. The White Housewives, they still get the ratings, but they ain't got to show all the drama and the fighting. Same way with the book. She didn't have to show the dramatic part in order to sell a book. She didn't have to show all the layers. I'm sure she didn't tell her deepest, darkest secrets, what she was doing. She could have told a story, in my opinion, to really preserve this man's legacy. Yes, he had a terrible ending to his life, but what about all the good times and all the good things? I think it could have been a bestseller as well. It didn't have to be controversial. But
maybe it is. Have we read it? We haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I haven't read it. I'm going to
We
read
haven't
it.
read
him being
it.
on drugs. That's all I know.
Did you read it? Did you read it though, Constance?
All I know is what she.
Did you read?
I know, and I'm not going to, but I do know what she
Oh.
said in the interviews is him being on drugs.
But did you
What she
read
said?
it?
And you just told me what she said in the book.
You gotta look at it from the
I'm
full
not
view.
supporting that bitch. No. Commercial.
Are you ready to take your brilliant business idea and turn it into income? So my name is Athena Gardner. I'm a CPA, wealth coach, and also a Fly Nubian Money host. And I am partnering with the Fly Nubian Money Club to bring you this exclusive training called Idea to Income, how to supercharge or elevate your current business and using the power of AI. So in this training that is exclusive only to the Fly Nubian Money Club, you will learn how to take your brilliant business idea and turn it into a money-making machine or elevate a current business if you have one already. You will learn the AI tools that will help you supercharge your business, save time and slash costs. And then you will also have a plan and a strategy in how to execute that flawlessly. So if you're interested in that, please be sure to sign up at the flynubianmoneyclub.com and I will see you in the training.
Yo, Athena is a genius, and Athena is going to show you how to up-level your business using AI. If you want to take your business to the next level, I am telling you, you need to incorporate AI into your business, and you need to let Athena show you how to do it on what? The Fly. I'm not going to say the Fly NubianMoneyClub.com because I'm about to get my ass whipped. Where? FlyNubianMoney.com, not the Fly. It's just FlyNubianMoney.com. Make sure you go sign up. Real shit. Huh?
Fly Nubian Money Club.
FlyNubianMoneyClub.com.
Yes.
Make sure you sign up because you get a 30-day free trial. But if you want to learn how to grow your money and not blow your money, you need to go to FlyNubianClub.com. Really, it's fantastic. You're going to have a community of people who are doing the same thing as you, who want to change their life in 2025. Go to FlyNubianClub.com.
Fly Nubian Money Club, girl.
FlyNubianMoneyClub.com.
Oh my God.
Sorry, my ADD is acting up. Y'all. So before we got off, I was talking about the whole idea of her having, and I know y'all's like, well, she wanted to tell this story, but I know I'm still on the fact that I think she could have told a good story and still been able to sell that book. Dr. Felice, what you think?
I think you're right. I think she had a whole bunch of choices, and at the end of the day, she chose this one. And I mean, what am I, what are we to do? Like, it's there. So I just hope that the family can find some way to experience a peace about it. Yeah. And the fact that you can't control what other people do, but the relationship that you have with your son, and you have the ability to share your memories and what it was like to walk through this life with him. And so I hope that they do that within their own circles. And the people that they know and know them, they know their truth. And so I hope that brings them peace somehow.
Yeah. If and I would do that too, right? Start, just telling stories just about the positiveness of their brother instead of just engaging in this negative spectacle back and forth. I think that would be a great idea. And that, lightness outshines darkness all day, every day anyway. So I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that, Dr. Felice. Vanessa, give us your final thoughts and where we can find you.
My final thoughts are, like Dr. Felice said, I think she made this choice, but I also believe that, I haven't read the book. Want to read it. I think that, I don't think it's wrong with showing the full scope of a human being. I think that doesn't take away from the greatness. When we look at, the story, the documentary, Ray Charles, or, you know, Whitney Houston, and we see that they had issues, that they were real people. I think it just brings a rawness and a realness to that person, and it elevates their their legacy, because it shows that they dealt with real issues. We live in a society now where you look at Instagram, they only show the good stuff. They only show the good stuff. So when people are dealing with real emotions and real feelings, they don't know how to necessarily deal with that. So I mean, on the in the silver lining, I think it could be a good thing that she's telling a broad story, and hopefully it'll highlight as many good things, more good things than the struggles, because obviously, he had an amazing career, and just super successful, and just a dope pillar in the Black community. You can find me at Vigo Paul. That's VGOP. I have a general contracting company. If you are in the Los Angeles area, we are specializing in ADUs and kitchen remodels. Please hit me up at Vigo Paul. If you are interested in traveling abroad and you want someone to plan your vacation that travels a lot, that knows what they're doing and really enjoys traveling, please hit me up at Vigo Paul. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Vanessa. Welcome back. It's been a minute anyway.
I
Yeah.
know.
All right, we want to go back to you, Dr. Felice. What are your final thoughts, and where can we find the B.Big Coach, baby?
So I'm just gonna ditto what Vanessa said. I'm gonna say that everybody's perspective was, probably on point to some degree. I'm gonna also reiterate that I hope that some peace can come from all of this. I hope that some reconciliation and some understanding and grace comes from all of this. And at the end of the day, I hope the kids, right? I hope the children are okay, and benefit from all of this somehow, even if it is financially. I hope that the mother does wise things with the money so that their children are okay since he's gone. And you can find me. I'm the Be Big Coach. I am on Instagram as b.big.coach. I'm on Facebook as Be Big Coach. So please reach out to me if you want some coaching, if you want some therapy, whichever way you want to go, I'm available to you.
B.Big.coach, baby. All right, Mr. Joe, what are your final thoughts, sir? And where can we find you?
So I don't know. We don't know nothing about nothing. We just out here talking.
True.
But I'm just talking from somebody who spends his whole day analyzing human behavior. I don't really, believe that this woman is any different than what she was when he decided to marry her. So let's just say Constance is right, and everything bad about this woman is accurate. And we in the back now pointing at everything bad. Meanwhile, this brother's up front who chose this woman. He just up here doom 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 doom. I've got sunshine. He loved her. He chose her. He loved her on a cloudy day. He loved her. So that's my final thought, man. You chose her, and now you got to deal with all the consequences of choosing that woman. There's my website, realuconsulting.com. If you're having problems with who you chose, come holler at me. Doom 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 doom.
Also, Joe, you want to let people know that on Tuesdays you have your podcast every Tuesday on the Boss Network. Let people know that as well.
Yes, every Tuesday we have the podcast Vulnerability is the New Sexy, where we are talking about issues that are surrounding Black men and having real conversations about them. We ain't doing no hating. This ain't the show to go to when you looking to bash women or nothing like that. We just talking about how vulnerability leads to freedom, emotional freedom. So come join me on Tuesday nights. We having really good conversations. Every week has been on point. We haven't missed yet. Doom, doom, doom.
I love it. Thank you. I love vulnerability. Vulnerability is the new sexy. So Tiara, is it true that hoes get choked? No, I'm just kidding. What are your final thoughts?
Because don't start with me. You know I'll go right with you. I would just say this: Black people, stop telling your kids that they can't express themselves. Stop telling them to sweep things under the rug, because I think at some point it leads to what we're seeing, them with a cornucopia of drugs hiding in the stash, mushrooms and pills. There was some talk. I don't know where I saw this, but I guess it had come from Allison, that there was some sexual abuse tied to something that he shared with her that was sexually abused. He was sexually abused when he was younger. I also saw that on the Whitney Houston documentary, that she was also molested when she was younger by family members. So I would just say, as someone who has also dealt with something similar, to stop telling your kids to not express themselves. Stop telling them to, and still allowing those family members to come around and still allow, you know what I mean? Just acting like nothing happens. I know that it's a cultural thing. I know that we are never able to really say how we feel. We just don't come from a culture that allows freedom really in expression, or just truth, saying that this happened, right? So I would just say that, if nothing else, just allow your kids, and maybe you can save their lives and their mental state later on in their lives. Maybe if Twitch would have been able to just say, this happened to me in my family, or maybe he did and nobody listened. Maybe we just don't know. But I just see how that can, just start something. And then, I don't want to say a fire because I'm in the middle of fires, but it can start a fire in the mind, and before you know it, there's, you have your mind is burned. You know what I'm saying? You're gone. So I would just say that. I also want to just remind you that my name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood. I work in Hollywood, yes, but I'm so excited about the Fly Nubian Money Club. I'm a co-creator of that, and we have a training coming up on the 25th. So we ask that you join us. Constance brought the house down last Saturday. Listen, my sis is a genius. That recording is still available now on flynubianmoneyclub.com. She taught us how to reach our 7-figure. She gave us the blueprint for 7 figures. And I don't know nobody that don't want to make $1 million. So come through, sign up, and we'll see you on the 25th.
Woo! FlyNubianMoneyClub.com. When you talked about her talking about him being molested, that further for me confirms that she shouldn't be telling his business, because if he ain't told the world he was molested, why the fuck is she telling the world? See, that kind of shit pisses me off. That's his personal business that didn't need to be shared with the world. He didn't share it. She shouldn't have. Anyway.
Sweep it under the rug.
No, it's like, no. That ain't nobody's business. Share what you're there. Get on Joe's couch. Talk about the police.
He did it. He didn't feel like he could. He didn't feel like he could.
The world shouldn't know. The world should not know that he got molested or he was on drugs. He didn't tell the world. Why should she? That's bullshit. That's all I got to say. So let me tell you, we're going to end this by saying this. This conversation reminds us that grief is complex.
You have a final thought?
No, F that B. No, actually, let me tell you this. I have the Net 7 Collective, and guess what? This is a draft copy of our new book, Unbreakable. It's called Unbreakable. Look at that. This is a beautiful collection of stories of survival, sisterhood, and success from women from the Net 7 Collective. And our new cohort, if you want to learn how to write a book, if you want to learn how to tell your story, if you want to learn how to monetize your genius, I am helping Black women all over the country. Go to bookwithconstance.com. That's bookwithconstance.com. And let's talk about it. Let's see if you would be a good fit for the program, because my goal is just to help us better our community. I live from the African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. And Black women, we are the preservers. See, if he was married to a Black woman, it will be a totally different story, but I digress. Anyway, I'm just telling you my final thought. Well, I'm going to just give you my closing statement. This conversation reminds us that grief is complex and deeply personal. Protecting a loved one's legacy is no small task, which she did not do, especially when public narratives are involved. Families navigating mental health and addiction challenges deserve compassion, and it deserve, in my opinion, to be kept private. But let's continue to foster open conversations. Let's continue to support one another and challenge the stigma around the issues. Keep that shit in the house. Thank you for joining us for this important discussion on Fly Nubian Money. Listen, we come live every day, Monday through Friday, 5-8, or what time we get here? 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Is that 10? Yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We talk every day about different conversations. And it's so good that when we have this conversation about grief, about mental health, that we have two therapists right here that are able to really give us a great and unique perspective, because it's important. It's important that we not just here rapping about it, but we really understand where people are coming from. Now, although I don't sympathize or empathize with this stupid ass bitch, it's good to have professionals here that really could give us a perspective of where she's coming from, because I don't understand it and I never will. So it's great to have these dialogues and conversations every single day. And just, we can talk to you about everything. So if you want to listen to us on Spotify, go to flynubianmoney.com and search for go to Spotify and search for Fly Nubian Money. But again, we come live every single day, same bat time, same bat channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.